Welcome to Backyard Trail Tales. In this video, we're going to discuss 3 simple ways that you can resupply while you're on the trail. So you got to ask yourself a few questions. Some of these questions may be, why are you resupplying? How often are you resupplying? What are you going to resupply? Once you have the answers to these questions, then you can decide on what the best resupply option is for you. And for me, honestly, it is a combination of all 3. I've done 850 miles of the Appalachian Trail, and I utilized all 3 different ways when it was necessary. The easiest place to resupply is definitely going to be in town in a brick and mortar type store. Whether it's a Dollar General or a supermarket or something along those lines. It's easier because you can assess, how you're feeling and what you're craving. So maybe you're sick of Snickers bars and you don't want to resupply any more of those. Maybe it's too hot out and Snickers isn't the option. You have to switch to peanut M&Ms or Paydays. An in-store resupply allows you to flex like that. The next easiest option is definitely going to be a online retailer, something like Amazon or REI. If you need gear, say you need a pair of shoes, you can, order it online and then have it sent to a hostel, hotel, or post office, up the trail. As far as food goes, you can put a lot of stuff in your box that maybe, you couldn't find in a normal brick and mortar store along the trail. Maybe, some bars that you like or some dried fruit that you like that you just don't see on the trail. So if you're going to order something, you can order a bunch of things and just have that to supplement an in-store resupply. The last way to resupply is going to be to preload your boxes. And what people do is they go to the post office, they get a bunch of boxes, and then they put all the stuff in there. They put their meals in there, they put their snacks in there, they put the hydration packets, anything they may need, gear, medical, yada yada, put it in the box, and then they ask a friend or a family member to ship it to them. In-store resupply, that can sometimes be a little bit more expensive than a typical in-store resupply when you're doing it close to the trail. And I guess they figure that the hikers are coming through and tuna fish is gonna be a thing, so let's mark it up a couple of bucks. So be mindful of that. As far as the most complicated, it's definitely, in my opinion, going to be preloading your boxes. The reason being is, you're deciding months in advance what you're putting in there, and you might not crave that when you get your box. You might not want that food or those snacks or something along those lines. And then you have the online retail, which is just like doing an in-store resupply, just the complication of having it delivered to you. And then of course you always have a combination of each. So what I end up doing is I make 3 boxes with 3 buckets. Actually, I use 5-gallon buckets, and then I put some basic snacks and stuff in there that maybe I won't be able to get on the town. Maybe it'll be some tuna fish packets when they go on sale. If I have extra pairs of shoes, last go around REI had a huge flash sale on my Ultra shoes, so I went and bought 6 pairs of them, like 5 pairs. They were half off. They were $62, I think. Normally they're running $125. So I bought a bunch of pairs of shoes and I gave them to my friends in case I needed them. The other thing I do is I give a certain amount to each friend, and the reason why I do that is I don't want to have to sit there and ask a family member or a friend like every time I need something on the trail to come ship it to me. It's a little abusive of our friendshipness. So what I end up doing is breaking it down and then giving it to multiple people, and then I can ask them depending on what's going on. Plus, my friends have lives too. So maybe they're out on vacation, or maybe they have a dance recital to go to, or maybe they're working. So by giving it to a couple different people, it allows me to flex as I need to. Another con for the preloading of the boxes is that it gets expensive. Even if it fits at ships boxes, they can be sometimes $15, $20, depending on the size of the box. Is it worth the shipping cost of what you're shipping? You have to ask yourself that question. If you have a dietary need and maybe you need some, vegan friendly meals and stuff like that, and you've made all that stuff ahead of time, then I get it. You just gotta pay the extra $1. But maybe sending it from Amazon or something like that with free shipping, that extra $15, $25 that you save, maybe that's the better way to go. I don't know. Like I said, I do a little bit of each. Okay, so now let's talk about where you're gonna ship your packages to. Typically, there's a few different spots. You have hotels, if they allow you to do a box drop. Then you have hostels on the trail. A lot of times they're just houses and stuff like that, and they allow you to also do mail drops as well. Sometimes you have places of business. Some of the outfitters will allow you to do a mail drop to them, and they'll hold it in the back room for you. Prime example is like the NOC in Tennessee. They'll hold your boxes in the back, and you come in, they sign your name, and they mark you off the list, and go from there. And then lastly, you have the post office itself. I've shipped Amazon boxes to the post office routinely because of the dog food that I need for Liberty, and I've never had an issue. You just have to make sure you address the package properly. Ooh, the sun's coming out. All right, let's talk addressing your package. So if you're sending it to the post office, I've had multiple packages delivered from Amazon to the post office. Sometimes it's USPS, sometimes it's not. They will hold it for you. At least every time I've shipped it, they've held it for me. I've heard of some issues, but I haven't seen them myself. Bottom line is, if you address the package properly, you shouldn't have any issues. So on your package, you're going to address it to yourself. Always use your real name. Don't use your trail name, because they may ask for your ID and it gets complicated. Plus, you don't want somebody picking up your package by accident thinking it's for them. I mean, I don't know how many Gandalfs I saw on the trail. So with that being said, you're going to address it to you. You're also going to put on there to hold it for you. And then in the next line, you're going to put general delivery. So that way the post office knows, hey, we're going to put it in the back. It's a general delivery, and they're going to come and get it. And then you just use the address of the post office. So what I do is I go online. We'll use a town, Daleville, Virginia. I go online, I Google Daleville, Virginia. I get the address of the location, and that's the address I ship it to. No boxes or anything like that. Just Daleville, Virginia post office, to me, general delivery, hold. All right, you got to give it some time. 2-day delivery is great for, for Amazon Prime or whatever. Is great for, big cities, larger towns, etc. But when you are going to a hostel that is a 45-minute drive from the nearest town, 2 days isn't going to cut it. You're going to need 5 days. Luckily, Amazon does a pretty decent job when you put everything in your box and you look at the shipping to tell you when you're going to receive your package at that location. So just try to give yourself as much time. Look down the trail and figure it out. Also, one pitfall not to fall into is that the post office on Saturdays usually closes at noon, and then on Sundays it's closed all day. So if you're coming into town on a weekend, you may have to stay Saturday night, Sunday, and then pick up your box halfway through Monday when they open up. So be mindful of that as well. You don't want to get stuck somewhere longer than you need to, or maybe that's a great opportunity for a zero. I guess it all depends if what your schedule is looking like. All right, well, that about wraps this up. How do you resupply? Do you use one of these 3 systems? Is there something I didn't cover? Let me know down in the comments below. Also, if you found this video helpful at all, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Share it, like it, do what you got to do. If you are into adventuring with dogs and you think all adventures should begin with a wagon or a wolf, you're definitely going to want to stay tuned to this channel, because that's what we're all about here. We're all about hiking with our dogs and doing fun things. So, until next time.